The only thing necessary for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. It's important that people wake up to what is going on. It's time that we read the Constitution. It is error that needs the support of government. Truth can stand alone. That was given to us by Thomas Jefferson. Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Daniel Hapney, and this is The Real Story. Tonight I got a special episode. For someone who thinks they represent me, this one's for Barney Frank. Barney, this show's for you. Okay? And for all your constituents who hopefully are watching this channel, so that they get to understand the question that I put forth. And my question for this episode: who does Barney Frank work for? There's a thought for you. I'm a constituent. He doesn't work for me. So, let me throw a couple one out there, and then that is, are you familiar with his latest and greatest great move? That's right, Barney Frank, H.R. 4173, the Financial Services, I call it the government takeover bill. About 1,300 pages. And of course he did it and put it in right when everyone left for the holidays. But before we get into that, let me give you a little news, financial news, so you can put it in perspective with the Barney news. Okay? Let's see. FEMA requires tens of thousands of California homeowners to buy flood insurance, even though there is only a 1% chance of flood in the areas designated as flood zones. That's because they redrew the map. But what's important is, this is not to protect homeowners, but to help the insurance companies with their risk. Boy, does Barney get a lot of his money from insurance companies? Anyway, here's the thing, just so you see, LA Times, don't believe me. How about this one? 92% of TARP recipients still have the same management that presided over the meltdown. Hey, yeah, I remember TARP. That's the trillion, the T stands for trillions, right? Okay. Government has power as co-owner to insist on new management, but they are all cronies. Let's talk about Barney Frank, huh? Okay, that's from the Huffington Post. Don't believe me. How about, in spite of new bankruptcy laws, which I'd like you viewers here in Massachusetts to thank the dead Kennedy, okay, Ted Kennedy, and also John Kerry, because, yeah, they did the bankruptcy bill in 2006, didn't they? Okay, but anyway, besides new bankruptcy laws that make it more difficult to obtain release, thank you, Kerry and dead Kennedy, okay, from debt filings, they rise 32%, making 2009 the 7th worst year on record. And the trend continues upward. That's from the Wall Street Journal. Okay? A little bit of, we'll throw in some, just so you have a financial understanding of what's going down. Here's good news. You always say, where's the good news, Dan? Here's the good news. Iceland. 23% of voters petitioned president to veto bill that would take $5 billion in tax dollars to bail out foreign investors who lost their money to Iceland banks. Boy, isn't that just what happened here? Banks speculated, they lost, bad banks, evidently, but what do? We want to steal from the people in the form of taxes so that the bankers don't lose money. Well, because a lot of those banks were over in England, England's now going to treat Icelanders like they're what? Terrorists. Yeah, they're bad people because, who took them down? Lehman Brothers. And then Lehman Brothers got taken down over here. But all this, once again, it's convoluted and complicated. Why? So that you don't know what to think. But I'll tell you this, the Icelanders have it right. When the bankers rip you off, they deserve nothing. And you should stop being controlled by bankers, my belief. Matt, did you hear that? Don't let the bankers ever get control of you. So anyway, here's another one for you. Yeah, you can see the picture too. Okay, this is the Treasury and the Federal Reserve inject another $3.8 billion into GMAC. That's right, because GM, General Motors, which is now Government Motors, right? Services bail out even more mortgage losses, okay? This makes the government the majority owner of the auto and home finance company. So your car company said, oh, I'm going to become a bank and finance home purchases, GMAC. So your grandchildren are paying for what? Yeah. Thanks, Barney. That's another Barney thing, because, Barney's in charge of the Financial Services Committee, right, or whatever? Okay, let's see if I got any more. Oh, here's a little more money news for you. North Korea to ban all citizens and visiting foreigners from trading or possessing foreign currency. Otherwise, no one would accept the worthless national currency. That's from the Digital Journal. Why that's important? Is that why we have legal tender laws? Boy. But you have to take the money even if it's worthless, or else we'll take you to jail. How about this one? We'll be mellow on you. We'll be mellow. Majority of Americans now believe that the so-called stimulus legislation has hurt the economy instead of helping it. That's from Rasmussen. You know, the poll people? Just so you remember, Dan asked you, did you follow the money? We're going to get into that with you, Barney. Don't you worry. Okay? U.S. Financial Accounting Standards Board, FASB, changes rules to allow federal regulators to cook the books of banks to make them appear more sound than they really are. The same practice that sends private accountants to prison. But it's okay when the government does it. You get that? They don't have to go through the body scanners and show their genitalia. You do. Okay? Because they're the government. Okay, that's good. Just so you know. All right. I think I'll let you be with the news there. Let's get down into Happy, Happy Barney. Here's a little article, and I recommend you read it, okay? This is How Wall Street Bought Barney Frank, and it's by a Kevin O'Connor on Alternate. And here's some good clips and quotes that I want to show you, just so you can see for yourself, okay? This one I like. Since becoming the ranking Democrat of the House Financial Services Committee 7 years ago, he has built a formidable Wall Street donor base. How interesting, huh? You mean it wasn't my money, the constituent money? Okay. Even by Washington standards, as the housing bubble grew, so did his fundraising purse and his stature in Congress. Here's some quotes. Now, FIRE, which is financial, insurance, real estate, I'm trying to think FIRE. I'll come up with the other one. But anyway, this just so you know, locally around here, have you ever heard of the Weiss family? They're in Brookline, Massachusetts. It's interesting. They gave a whopping $24,000 to Barney. He received the maximum contributions of $4,800 from Kara, she's going for a master's in financial accounting or whatever, student in Seattle. From Judith, now once again, that's a college student. Okay, college student had $4,800 extra to give him. From Judith, an undergraduate at UC Davis, and Danielle, a psychology PhD at Tulane. Now the interesting thing, and of course their parents, Bonnie and Andrew, okay, this is the Weiss family, okay? Campaign finance data is drawn from OpenSecrets.org, just in case you're wondering where it's from. Now, the Weiss daughters, who had previously given a grand total of $250 before this. So Barney gets 24 grand from a family, huh? And of course, these college students have extra money, $4,800, whatever to drop on Barney, okay? But their father, Andrew, is the hedge fund manager, and therefore a key constituent and a powerful chairman, of the House Financial Services Committee. Yeah, wonder why people in hedge funds or whatever have their family donate the maximum amount. So Barney, my representative, and when I say that, he doesn't represent me. Barney, I think, is a loser. In case you're watching, Barney, you're a loser, and you got no huevos to come on my show. Yeah, let's talk finance, Barney. Okay, so anyway, yeah, and he's got other money from hedge fund managers like Eric Vinson and Michael Ansarda, the former Republican congressman, Mr. Baker. Anyway, what's important is more than half of Barney's money now, large percentage of it, comes from insurance companies, comes from financial institutions. It's not coming from the people. Mr. Barney, I'm a Democrat, I really care. No. What kind of legislation has he been putting forth? Let me tell you a little bit about his new bill, okay? This 4173, okay? You'll love this. The new bill, the government takes over the financial industry. Well, thank you, Barney. Boy, they took over GM. They're taking over healthcare. By the way, if you consider defense, about 30% of the GDP of the country, okay, of what we make, okay, defense-related products, and now they're going to take over healthcare, about 20% of the, that makes 50% of the economy. Now, with Barney's new bill, they're going to take over the financial industry. Rather interesting, huh? At what point do we become fascism? When the government, what, runs everything? Okay, and with that, here's a little bit of Judge Napolitano for you.
Last Saturday at 11 o'clock in the evening, the House of Representatives voted by a 5-vote margin to have the federal government manage the health care of everyone in America at a cost of over $1 trillion over the next 10 years. For the first time in American history, if this bill becomes law, the feds will force you to buy insurance you might not want or may not need or cannot afford. If you don't purchase what the government tells you to buy, if you don't do so when they tell you to do it, if you don't buy just what they say is right for you, the government may fine you, prosecute you, and even put you in jail. Freedom of choice and control over your own body will be lost. The privacy of your communications and medical making decisions with your physician will be gone. More of your hard-earned dollars will be at the disposal and tender mercies of federal bureaucrats.